was Kudas, Challengers, um, lift-off wood six-pack cars, Superbirds. I put on as many parts as I could with the car to help the fella out to get the car started on its restoration. And I had all the parts lying around me, so I did what I could to help him out. But there was just so much stuff there. There was Kudas, Challengers, um, lift-off wood six-pack cars, Superbirds. I had done a bit of a story, a bit of a tale earlier on this car and some other cars, but like I said, I might have to do another part on this because there was just so much stuff there. It was absolutely insane. Not much of that interior right there, but you know, the fender tag says what the fender tag says. I had most of the parts in there. I think that was one seat. Tried to throw as many parts as I could in with the car, but you know, can't do everything. But you know, I had a decent dash to get started with. I think the instrument cluster was on the ground there. But you know, pretty solid car. Like it is definitely a rough start for somebody to get started on it. But you know, the fella that bought this, I believe it was going to be a father and son project. Frame rails look a little crusty, but they're solid. You know, the underside of that car was solid. Everything was there. The rear end and all that stuff was there. Definitely a workable car. Door jams are pretty decent. You know, I'm showing quite a few pictures of this car because I really like this one. This was one I kind of, you know, I said it before, I'll say it again. Wish I could have held on to all of them, but it's not the business I was in. I was in the business of getting them pulled out of the horrible situations that these cars were in and getting them moved on. Boy, these cars look rough in the front, but they were solid. They were definitely solid cars. They didn't use a lot of salt on the roads up there in Virginia. A lot of the roads that I went down were all dirt. They were all still dirt, so you know the cars were pretty solid.